You can notice that
Bless you.
how during the Middle Ages, how backwards were Europe compared to the other world. Okay, you don't even have to look at Europe. You don't have to look at Southeast Asia. Look at Abbasid. Baghdad was a city of also almost 1 million people. Baghdad was so much more advanced compared to the European cities at that time. Okay, now let's go back to the legacies of nobility. Now, just now when we talked about Magna Carta, you look at this photograph here. Okay, can you see this person here?
Yeah.
Who is that? Who is that Kichi Mayong, Kichi Mayong person there?
The Queen.
The Queen and the Duke of Edinburgh. Okay. In the European tradition, in the English tradition, just like in Malaysia, the monarch has to go and open the parliament every time the parliament is in session. But in in English tradition, this is not the House of the Commons. This is not the house. The Queen, the sovereign, cannot enter the House of the Commons in UK. She has to go and open the parliament every year, but she cannot enter the House of the Commons.
Sure.
Can you imagine your job is to go and open the parliament, but you cannot go inside the House of the Commons? So every year when she opens the house, the parliament, she will go into the House of the Lords. This is the House of the Lords, and the Lords are the legacies of nobility in modern Europe. Okay, the dukes, the earls. Okay, these hereditary dukes and earls are now also slowly phasing out already. There are only about 15 dukes left. There are only about 15 dukes left who are non-royal. You don't count the Duke of Edinburgh, the Duke of Sussex. Those are dukes that are given by the monarch. Dukes that we talk about, for example, the Duke of Northumberland. Northumberland is one example of those legacies of the dukes that kept on until today. And then some of the dukes also disappear if they got no eldest male son. To make you understand easier, okay, I'm sure you have seen one of the most popular TV series. Can you suggest what TV series that I will show you about nobility in Europe? Can anybody guess?
The Crown.
The Crown is about
Star Wars.
Dean, are you in Star Wars?
What?
Not Star Wars, definitely. The Crown is close. Okay, but the Crown is about the monarch. We are talking about the nobility. So who do you think, what series do you think will best represent the nobility?
So your favorite show, lor?
What is my favorite show?
I thought you always talked about The Crown.
No, but the Crown is about the monarchy.
Okay.
So what series do you think?
Strangest thing.
Okay, all right. Here's an actual on this one. There was a show from on Netflix. I forgot the name, but it's like Little River of like some sort of house in the back, and pretty much there's this man who just owns the entire plot of land. That's the exact one. Downtown Abbey. Yep, that's the one. That's the exact one.
Yes. This Downtown Abbey is about during the era of King Edward. So about 1910s, 1920s, 1930s kind of era. This is the height of nobility in UK. Okay, but now this kind of things cannot be done anymore already. Okay.
Boo.
Are you here for dinner, Mama? It's a buffet.
Well, I'm not changed. You just need to take off your hat. To talk as if that were easy.
I want every surface in this house to gleam and sparkle.
Post's just arrived, my lord. Heavens. What is it? The king and queen are coming to stay.
What? Here we go.
A royal luncheon, a parade, and a dinner. I'm going to have to sit down.
I am the king's butler. We have come to Downton in advance of their majesties.
The royal butler's terribly scary.
Stay out of our way.
I am their majesty's chef. I want the body boy in now.
He wants a clip round the ear now.
I need your help, Carson.
I'll be there in the morning, my lady. Can I help you, Ro?
I'm Lady Bagshaw's maid.
Might as well admit, I like her.
She is a scheming little minx. What piffle you talk.
There is no need to argue.
Never argue. I explain.
Master, I've had nothing to do. Nothing. It's not right for us to be humiliated in this way. Excuse me?
We want to defend Downton's honour.
We think we should fight back. This is treason.
Feeling that you can understand what's going on in my head.
The past few days have made me think. What are we doing? Should we really go on with it?
Downton Abbey's the heart of this community, and you're keeping it beating. Here they come now. Mr. Mosley?
Your Majesties, welcome to Downton Abbey.
Oh, can I help you?
Someone must, sir. I may never rise again.
Okay. What do you realize? You realize that in that, okay, the timing is not correct. The timing of that series is 1910s, 1920s, 1930s. But it also represents how we look at society. You have the king, the suzerain, coming to visit, correct? The countess, dowager countess, she is the vessel, okay? And the fifth is that land, that whole area. And the people who work for her is the serfs, somewhat. At that time, no more serfs already. Okay, but you can understand the context, right? Clear? Everybody okay? Okay.
Yeah.
We'll go to last part before we can end our class. Now, we're still early, so you can still continue a little bit more. Now, the last component of the Middle Ages society, the medieval society, is the worshippers. Okay? The worshippers are the men of faith. Okay? The Christians, priests, the Christian monks, the Christian Catholic Church. Okay? So basically the Christian Catholic Church. Now, when we talk about the Middle Ages, we tend to look at Western Europe. Please be clear, when we look at the Middle Ages, we usually look at Western Europe. We very seldom try to push this whole framework that we have and push it to Eastern Europe. Okay, so be clear. Now, when we talk about the Western, we talk about the Middle Ages, we like to push this story to Western Europe. So we'll look at England, France, okay, parts of what we call Germany, parts of what we call Italy, this kind of areas. We do not look into places like Greece, Serbia, or Byzantium. Remember that, Okay, so in this era, the church controls everything. The church is the most powerful. Just now you have the warriors, right? Even the warriors are not as powerful as the church. The church control the land. They even control the kings. And of course, they control the warriors and the nobility. Okay, so the church controls everything. But more important, the church controls how the people think. Can you imagine the church control how the Europeans should think? Okay? The church control the people by giving them public welfare. They build hospitals, they build orphanages, and they rescue the people from living on the streets. With one condition, you must be loyal to the church. If you are not loyal to the church, you are now considered blasphemy or heresy. Okay? This is not a good picture to show you. How many of y'all know this picture? Can see this picture, right? Who is this guy?
Galileo Galilei.
Wow, Dave, fantastic. This is Galileo Galilei. What was his problem?
Something scientific stuff.
Yeah, he invented telescope.
He said the world, the Earth, the planet Earth goes round the sun. He had the idea of heliocentrism, okay, which means the world revolves around the sun. But the church said the sun revolves around the world. So Galileo was asked to drink poison. But this picture is not a good example because this is a picture taken in 1630s, 1633 or so. Okay, so not a very good period for Middle Ages because it's beyond the Middle Ages. Okay, but it shows how powerful the church is, that you can even control how people think. One thing that the church hated a lot is heresy. Okay, they don't like people who question how they question things. This person, okay, Dave, you know who is this person?
Nikolai Copernic?
No, this is a woman. How many of y'all know this?
Jeanne d'Arc.
How many of y'all know who she is? Iman? Yeah, do you know who she is?
Was she accused of being a witch?
Yes. Who is this person?
God,
He's the patron saint of Earth. Saint John.
Sorry, the who?
Patron saint of France.
Jeanne d'Arc.
Saint John of Arc.
Joan of Arc. Wait, what? Sorry.
What?
Saint Joan of Arc.
But didn't she? Why wasn't she a knight though?
Yes, but she was burned to combat because she said she has received visions of God.
Oh my God! Come on, man.
You have to understand why Saint John of Arc was considered blasphemy and heresy, because Saint John of Arc, she received visions of God to support the Dauphin, the Dauphin, how you pronounce his name, the Dauphin, the Dauphin. It's not the Dauphin, that's what I can say. The Dauphin is basically means the crown prince of France. Okay, she was asked by God to go and meet the Dauphin, okay, and bring him and make him into the king. And God will be behind you. Okay? And the Dauphin was, of course, very easily impressed. Okay? This girl out of nowhere come and support me and then make me win. Okay lah. But don't forget that the French and the English were at war, and she was caught by the English.
This was during the 100 Years' War, right?
Yes. Okay? So she was trapped by the English and put to death. Okay? You can watch this movie when you see it.
Soldiers are coming. There's no time. I will not lose my dog.
Catholics. I have never seen such piety as a leader.
I must hope you like the people of France.
God puts us where he wants us. And a warrior.
For God's sakes, John.
Be careful. A woman so extraordinary.
I had heard voices as clearly as I'm speaking to you now.
What have these voices said to you?
That my destiny lies elsewhere.
She is still an inspiration.
She is going to unite all of France behind me.
Joan of Arc.
You are so brave. You are capable of more possibilities than you even imagine.
She gave hope to a monarchy.
Your Majesty, you must have faith, and the people of France will follow.
And brought unity to a nation.
If she wears the part well, the troops might rally.
Strike the English hard. And kill them.
To the man.
You are not on a mission of vengeance, Captain.
What if she fails?
What if she succeeds?
Those who praised her.
Your Majesty, it is God's will that France is united.
You presume to speak for God?
God speaks for himself.
Plotted to destroy her. I feel that the girl is neither liar nor hypocrite. She believes she has been instructed by God. She is an unrepentant heretic, and she will burn.
Why are you punishing me for talking to God?
You are please whatever I asked you. You are perilously close to heresy.
And when did truth become known as heresy?
You asked for eternal damnation!
Even if the stake were raised and fire lit, I would not lose faith in God.
The classic tale, now an epic for our miniseries. Joan of Arc. In her story lives a legend. From Alliance Atlantis.
So wait, she was a martyr.
Yes. But she died. Later, she will be proclaimed as the patron saint of France.
Yeah.
That's much later. Now, there's one story to remember about this. When God talks to you, keep quiet. Don't open.
Sorry?
When God talks to you, keep quiet. Don't go and tell people. Because she went to go and tell people that God talked to her, that's why she was trial for heresy. Got it? So that's about the idea of the control of the church. So what we know then, the church is the most powerful because it controls the land, it controls the money, but more importantly, it controls how people think. Okay? So the Inquisition is a good idea to see how the church can control people's thinking. And this form of controlling people, not just to consider them as heretics, but this kind of religious intolerance, even among the Christian church. Okay? For example, this group called the LBG, how you pronounce it? Albigensian, or the Catarites. They were considered heretics. They were considered heretics because they said good things were created by God and evil things were created by Satan. Because of this theory of dualism, they were persecuted. Okay? But if you think about it, it's because the Catars, or this group called Albigensians, were very rich in southern France. So they were very rich in southern France. Okay? It threatened the economic position of the church. So this group of people were threatened and a lot of them were killed. So the Catholicism or whatever, how you pronounce this? How do you pronounce this? Catholicism. Okay? Or Albigensians. They were targeted by the Catholic Church. And in France, there is a place where it's a pilgrimage site where they have their church in the middle of an island. If you go and look on the internet, you'll see they have a church in the middle of an island. It's because this church is willing to challenge the Catholic Church. Next week, we'll see some of the things that the Catholic Church do. You know what is the most important thing that the Catholic Church did during this era?
Money.
What?
What do you think they did? You can buy your way out of being sinful.
Oh, wait.
Wow.
Letter, something like that.
Yes, correct. Very good.
Wait,
What is the process?
wait, don't say it. Wait,
I see something and I don't like it. What is going on?
Harry knows the answer. She wants to say it out.
No, it's okay. If someone knows it, just say it. It's just like, it's the back of my head. It's also in high
Is
school.
it indulgence or something?
Yeah. Surah indulgence. Ingat now.
Something like that.
Wait, hold on. What?
Yeah.
Hey, Kevin!
Hi.
Hey, I hear Kevin's
Yes,
voice.
Kevin.
It's a good voice to hear today.
Surah indulgence. Yes, I remember that now.
Kevin,
So,
if Kevin want to go and kill somebody, right?
Fun.
He can pay money to church and he can do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, your sins are
Wow.
forgiven or whatever.
That is so...
Enough money, you spend the money and send the money to the church, and you have this thing called the letter of indulgence. Okay, then your sins are.
Oh gosh, we write Surah indulgence as the key.
Right indulgence.
Islam had it, we're all screwed, I tell you. If Islam had that, we're all screwed.
Oh, yeah.
Them.
Okay. Of course, this will be the most important point of contention, the formation of the.
Yes, the Reformation.
Yes, the Reformation.
That was in Vatican I, right?
What? Yeah.
Was that in Vatican I?
What do you mean by Vatican I?
I don't know what that means.
This indulgence were done by several popes. Okay, several popes have done this. And most of the popes, if you realize, okay, some of the popes of this era were not of very holy men. Some of them were practically not that nice after all. Okay, but we're not going to go into it later. But you can see it. Some of this money were used to build elaborate churches and cathedrals. Okay. Now, besides they target the own Christians, the most important scapegoats were the Jews. The Jews were the easiest people to target. In Europe, in Western Europe in this time, the only people that were non-Christians were the Jews. Okay? They had Muslims in Europe, but the Muslims in Europe stayed in Spain, which is not yet Christian yet. Okay? So the Muslims did not meet the Christians. The only minority that stayed in Europe at that time were the Jewish people. And the Jewish people, because the Christians at that time, they didn't believe in lending money with interest rates. Only the Jews were willing to do it. So when the Jews were willing to do it, after a while you lend money with interest, after a while you become rich, right?
Yeah.
And then when you become rich, the church are very unhappy about you. So they will blame the Jews for all the problems of the Christian people. Until so much so that in the Crusades, when Pope Urban II asked the Christians to rise up against the Muslims to go to battle in the Holy Land, right? So Pope Urban II will call for the Christians to rise up to battle in Clermont in southern France. And the people from France, Germany, they have to walk all the way to Holy Land. Okay? And in the process of walking to the Holy Land, any Jews that they see, they say, okay, give me money. Okay? If give me money for the Jews, we kill them. So the persecution of the Jews started during the Middle Ages. It's 1:55. Should we go to the next topic or should we wait for Thursday?
Okay.
We'll stop now, is it?
Okay.
Before we stop, class, are there any questions that you guys want to ask?
No.
Bukasa, and you checked out the final test file already for world religion?
Oh, I'm curious. Could you explain the Dominican order?
The Dominican order is one of the orders of the Roman Catholic Church. You have the Dominicans,
the Vulcans?
A few orders. The Dominicans are not so, for our part of the world, the Dominicans were not so much important. But the Dominicans in now today, the Dominicans are very important because they will usually lead the Inquisition. The Dominicans are also in the Dominicans are the people who set up the La Salle. Is it the La Salle?
La Salle?
Hold on, I'm not too sure. Let me just check out. I think so. They are the ones who set up.
No, I have a game for you, Mr. Clarence. You should play Warhammer Vermintide.
What is it?
It's medieval fantasy. Yes.
Medieval fantasy.
Iman, you know what I'm talking about, right?
No.
Seriously? I thought you're the one who plays games here. I swear.
Untuk Steve lah, you Iman.
Yeah lah, exactly. Karin agrees with me. What the heck?
I cannot remember the Dominican order for us. For us,
You can Google, sir, no worries.
Huh? What?
You can Google.
Google.
Okay.
What is the Dominican?
The Dominican schools are the St. Dominic's College. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's some in Zambia as well.
Is it?
My sister went to one.
In our part of the world, La Salle belongs to which?
La Salle?
La Salle are consistent, is it?
Let me check. La Salle was in Romania.
No, I mean the schools, the La Salle schools, they are from which?
In Malaysia, yeah.
What?
La Salle Brothers.
Yes, they are from which orders, sir?
John Baptist de La Salle.
Yeah, I mean from which order? For us in this part of the world, I'm not too sure about Sophia. The Jesuits are very important. How about in?
For us, it's the Jesuits, the Dominicans, and the Montforts. There are a lot of and the Spiritans. There are a lot of them in Central Africa. I went to a Jesuit high school.
Yeah.
So And my sister went to a Dominican school.
Any difference in terms of their education wise? For us, the Middle Ages, the Dominicans, is because they will usually be the ones who will do all this Inquisition. The Inquisition will reach its height after the formation of Spain. So when Spain was reunified under what's his name? Ferdinand and Isabella. Okay, then the Inquisition will go really, really serious, and everybody will be targeted. Women, just now, Shireen, are you there? Shireen?
Yeah.
You also be targeted.
Sorry?
Shireen will be targeted in the Inquisition. Why? When we started our first class just now, what she had with her?
Oh, I had a cat.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So you are a witch.
Oh, yeah, that's serious.
Oh, I remember that.
So even things like this lah. So the Inquisition will target certain people. Okay. So I think so we will stop here today. And on Thursday, we'll look into the three components of the we'll look at the three components of the medieval society, the disasters, and the reaction. One of the biggest disaster is the Black Death is like what we are going through right now, the COVID-19.
Oi, so, oi.
It's almost similar, you'll be surprised. Okay? At least nowadays we do not cause, during the Black Death spread very fast is because people believe in the power of God. So they go and worship more in the church. So when they worship more in the church, you need to hug each other, touch each other, sneeze, and then everybody will die. Now we need to stay away from each other. Okay, so that's how we can be a little bit more safer. Okay, so let us do a trial run for our final exams. Okay, I will send out something on your times. Okay, I just want you guys to type in one paragraph.
What?
We'll do a trial run for our final exams.
Right now?
Okay. We're not going to do.
Wait, about what time? Please be certain. I might fall asleep.
What?
Later or whatever. Or we'll do on Thursday. We'll do on Thursday. And we'll see. I want to see the students from World Religion do it first, okay? Basically, I need to test out whether the system will fail or not. Our technology system sometimes fail one.
It fails a lot, especially when it's not in my favor.
So, you see, now I'm opening up the times and it's taking forever to load up.
Mr. Clarence, one of my other lecturers are doing this, so maybe you could do it too, maybe. Because sometimes today has problems, right? Yeah. So she's giving us extra 15 minutes. So just in case if there's any problems, we can email you. Let's do that too.
I will think so. I'll give you additional half an hour.
Ooh, love that. Why is no one else cheering? Isn't that not?
Who the heck is that?
See this guy?
Yes.
Aha.
Who's that? What's his name? What's the meow meow's name?
Margot in San Francisco, some more.
That cat's posh, man.
Okay, I will also be cute.
Nice. Mr. Clarence, you're a warlock.
Okay, so let's see. Why? Let me just check this. I just try out with the world religion just now. Wow. Somebody sent in with 100% plagiarizer.
Oh my god. Yo. Wait.
What happened? What did the fellow do?
Impossible.
And it's just one paragraph, you know. I just asked you guys to write. What do you think can improve for online class? That's all.
Really?
Plagiarize? You plagiarize?
Wait, who plagiarized? I know I didn't, that's for sure.
So you look so sad right now, sir. You look like you got no
He
comment.
shook. He's like, dang.
No more comment.
He's also
You know what you need, Mr. Clarence? You need a hat. Here, hold on, I'll be right back.
Ooh, what kind of hat?
So, the rest had 0%. Everybody who...
There you go.
Oh my god, Mr. Gary!
Wait, hold on. There's too
You
many
want
hats.
Mr. Gary?
I don't know why, but
I'm
it's a hat.
getting like
Yeah,
flashbacks.
we have the first hat.
Yeah, who's seen? I only know Mr. Gary.
Hey,
We have the second hat.
That's cool. Now you feel like in South America. Okay? So...
All right, I'll get another hat.
Okay, Mr. Clarence, what do you want to say?
So that's it. We can end our class now. You can leave.
Thank you very much. Sir.
Thank you very much for your time. Okay.
Okay.
We'll do this trial run. Thursday.
I'm just happy I have a class at 5.
Okay. I'll see you then. Take care.
Bye, sir.
Bye,
Thank you.
sir.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.